There's something about film, because of its sensory completeness, the fact that it is sound and image in this powerful fusion, that gets at something very deep within us.
Filmmakers realized that sound and image didn't just stimulate emotions, they could also influence beliefs. During World War II, the U.S. government enlisted Hollywood's best. Editors and directors brought with them the same techniques they had used in fiction films to stir audiences across America. The Hollywood recruits applied their skill to American propaganda films, such as Why We Fight. Both German and American political leaders recognized how powerfully sound and picture can manipulate audiences. One of the most infamous examples of film used for political propaganda was Triumph of the Will. Director Leni Riefenstahl used sound, music, and masterful editing to make Adolf Hitler into a god.
In uns marschiert Deutschland und hinter uns kommt Deutschland!
When the Allies went to war against Germany, British editor Charles Ridley re-edited the same footage to turn Hitler into a fool. Whether used for propaganda or entertainment, these techniques showed how powerfully editing could shape hearts and minds.
I had seen the German propaganda in Holland when we were occupied. The methodology of the whole thing is, of course, to show only one side of reality.
Young people from all over the globe are joining up to fight for the future.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
So Starship Troopers is, style-wise as a movie, has been influenced consciously by Why We Fight in the Second World War, Triumph of the Will. I used the Leni Riefenstahl touch just to tell the audience this group of people is not aware of the fact that they are used by the government to give their lives for goals that are only interesting to the government.
Fresh meat for the grinder, eh? So how'd your kids do?
I'm gonna be a pilot.
Good for you. We need all the pilots we can get.
So I think the theme of the movie is, come on, that's great, let's go to war and die.
What about you, son?
Infantry, sir.
Good for you. Mobile infantry made me the man I am today.
In editing, you can do the same trick. It's all trying to sell us something. Manipulation that's done by editing, manipulation done by the glamorous photography, and by a certain kind of music that makes you think that you are going to heaven or whatever.
The manipulation of the elements within a film is a very powerful thing. It's almost a sacred thing in a way, because you're creating effects, you're creating responses in the audience.
Editing is manipulation. We're manipulating reality as the audience sees it, because you want the audience to respond in a certain way, whether it's a laugh or a sigh or a fright. Everything's manipulated. And some people say, well, let's direct him. He's manipulated the audience. Well, that's so naive, because that's all we do is manipulate.